All right. So, most founders are putting out content consistently and they're still getting completely ignored. But not because they're not smart, it's because they don't have good ideas. It's mostly because they're not showing in the right places at the right time. So today, we're breaking down exactly what you need to do in order to get AI to help you stay top of mind and tip of tongue. So I'm excited because today in this episode, we're going to be talking about why your personal brand is failing and the perfect AI tool to fix it. So welcome to Lights Camera Live, where we shine a spotlight on the best and brightest marketers in the industry. I'm beyond excited because today's conversation, I feel like this conversation is especially one that most founder-led brands need to hear, especially if you've been showing up on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the things, posting, trying to create content to build your brand and your bottom line, but it feels like it's not clicking whatsoever. And so today we're going to be talking about why your personal brand might be failing, even if you feel like you're doing all the right things, and what actually separates people who get attention from those who stay invisible. Now, this is going to be a fun live stream, so if you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm here in beautiful, sunny San Diego, and I've got an amazing guest for you today. So my good friend, Ruheene Jaura, let me actually show you where she is. That way you can see her. Say hi. Say hi, hey. So Ruheene is my goodness, it's been quite some time. But before I go into our background, her experience stems from 8 years at Marvel, go-to-market campaigns for Apple, Amazon, and Motorola. Now she makes founders impossible to ignore. So if you're tired of being the best kept secret, this is the live stream for you. Now, after 8 years of managing post-production on Marvel Cinematic Universe films and leading go-to-market campaigns for Apple, Amazon, and Motorola, she was drawn to entrepreneurship because who wouldn't want to take her badass skills, leave the corporate world, and start her own world tour of domination? Having said that, welcome to the show, Ruheene. How you doing, love?
Good. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm
Thank
excited
you.
to have you here. So, for those who don't know, last time I saw Ruheene, oh my gosh, it's already been a month. That's wild.
I know. I know.
And
Yeah, it's
so
been a
when I
lot.
saw you, you were gracing the stage at AI in Action, and you're teaching a room full of entrepreneurs on how to build their brand by using and leveraging AI. So the fact that you reverse engineered frameworks that you've learned from some of the world's biggest brands and then turning it into this tool that pretty much anyone can use is kind of fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. We're all excited about the possibilities of AI, and there's just so many possibilities that I think most of us are just confused about what to be excited about anymore. So, but yeah, one of the most exciting things for me has been to take all of these things and all of these learnings that I've gotten from these really, really big brands. And over the years, well before AI was such a mainstream thing, I was already kind of trying to reverse engineer everything and come up with the frameworks and everything that could be applied to smaller businesses. But the part that was always so hard to fix or to solve for was how do you replicate those things, even with the right frameworks, even when you know the inside story and the way they do it, like how do you replicate that at a smaller scale with like fewer resources and smaller budgets for smaller businesses. And so with AI, we've been able to do that as well. That was the missing piece. And so that's been really exciting.
I love that you brought up that part because I feel like when people hear like, oh, Ruheen, she's worked with like Marvel and Apple and Amazon. Of course they have big brand budgets and they could do all these different things, but now you're kind of leveling the playing field with Brandpod. So before we dive into the actual tool, I want to know from your perspective, like what's actually going wrong with people that are trying to build their personal brand right now?
I think the phrase personal brand itself is so vague in a way. I see all these different discussions about what is a personal brand? Is it this? Is it that? I've seen some very popular conversations around, oh, it's just your reputation. Like that's what it is. And your reputation is a part of your personal brand, but it is not your personal brand, right? Reputation can be positive or negative. Like she has a good reputation. She has a reputation for showing up on time. That's not your personal brand. Your personal brand immediately tells people who you are, why you're different from everybody else in your industry, and why someone would want to work with you versus any other expert. And that's something that your reputation alone can't carry. So
Mm.
yes, your reputation is a part of your personal brand, but it's not your personal brand. So I think the very first thing that is, not working for those of us who are building personal brands is just the lack of understanding of what a personal brand is.
Mm.
So it's not your reputation alone. It's not just posting on social media and making sure that you post 10 times a day on every single platform that you can post on, right? People are talking
Yeah.
about consistency, but I think what people are missing is that the consistency comes from consistency in quality, consistency in your positioning, consistency in your messaging, not posting consistently 10 times a day, where if you end up, having a day where you posted 9 times and you didn't make your 10th post, you're going to go live at 10 o'clock at night and tell people, I'm so tired, but here I am showing up anyway, because that is not giving anyone value. And
That's
that's
true.
not my brand. So, yeah.
That's so interesting. Tell me more about like when people are trying to build their personal brand. Obviously, we just hit it the nail on the head in the fact that it's not about posting like as many times as possible. I think it's more about having like a messaging problem. Like, what do you stand for? And so, how do you help your clients overcome that where it's like, but I don't know what to talk about? How do I distinguish
Yeah.
myself from everyone else?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So the founders I talk to either feel like there isn't anything special about them, and there isn't really much that differentiates them, and they feel like, well, what am I going to do? And then there are other people who tell me that I know I found this one thing, I found this gap in my market, I found this one gap that all the other experts are talking about, but I know it differently, and that's the message I want to get out there, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
Right? So it's either the what, like what is your message going to be, or I know my message, but how do I get it out there? So, the very first thing that I want to tell you, in case you're in category A, where you're like, I don't even know what my message would be, I don't know what's so special about me,
Hmm.
is that you want to lean into all the experience that you've accumulated. And unless you're 5 years old, you've lived a life full of experiences, unique experiences that only you've lived through. And so you have a perspective on things, whether you realize it or not, you have a perspective on things in your industry that nobody else will have.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of us, especially as women, we have this imposter syndrome where we're like, oh, well, I think it's, that person's saying that, but I don't think that's really what it is. I feel like it's more like this, but like, who cares what I think? Because nobody knows me. No one's going to care what I think. So, the very first thing I want to tell you is that that message is key, right?
Mm.
When you lean into your expertise and what you know about your market that you know that nobody else knows, that becomes your unique value. That becomes your positioning in your market. That becomes part of your messaging, which then goes into your content and everything that you say about what it is that you can do for your audience, for your ideal client. And then once you have that nailed, once you know the what, then it's about where and how, right? And social media is the only place that a lot of founders are spending all of their time trying to create content, wondering, do I need to do more video? Do I need to do more text-based? What do I need to do? And I know
Yeah.
you can ask that too. But then there's so many other channels, right? And the way to leverage other people's audiences is to start getting interviewed on their podcast, start speaking on their stages, just showing up at events. Like we were just at AI in Action and we had so much fun. And I honestly learned so much from you, just meeting you in person. We've known each other for years, but just being able to sit down and have dinner with you and be all goofy, like we talked about so much and I learned so much. So it's just knowing which events to be at as well.
I love it. And so let's say someone knows what it is that they do and what their messaging is. How is it that they're still invisible online? Are they just not creating enough content? Are they not putting themselves in front of the right audiences? Like what do you think is like the key differentiator that gets them across that hump?
It's a little bit of what you just mentioned, but for the most part, it's actually not knowing what your audience is actively searching for. So
Mm.
this is the part where the bigger brands come in and like their secret sauce, right? It's not so secret. If you really think about it, I think we all know what it is. It's their access to data and what they do with that data. And that's where their big budgets and their, never-ending resources come in, is because they've typically had teams and humans who have who understand how to collect data, what data is relevant, what data is not relevant, and then what to do with that data and how to make decisions based on that data, right? And as small business owners, that sounds A, really boring, and B,
Sounds
Very
like a
simple.
lot.
Right? But if you really break it down, we're not talking about like data science or whatever. We're just talking about knowing and being aware of what your audience is searching for actively right now on not just Google anymore, but on, on LLMs and AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude. What are they actively searching for in their own words? And how can you use your experience, your stories, your background to answer those questions in a way that nobody else is?
Oh, I love that. I love that, especially in the world of AI where everything seems kind of cookie cutter. And so when you mentioned earlier how important it is to weave in your experience and your story of how you personally overcame it, I feel like that's going to be the difference that makes the difference moving forward because everything is going to be a listicle. Everything's going to be a carousel, right? But when you start adding in who you are, your values, what you stand for, I feel like
Yeah.
that's where people are going to start to see a shift in how they're building their personal brand. Having said all
100%.
that, when you mentioned how all of these big brands, myself included, having worked at a creative agency, yeah, we had this thing called the war room. We would have different people doing different research, getting it from traditional media, paid media, all the things. But for your everyday founder or small business entrepreneur or creator, it's really hard to do that on your own, which is why I'm so excited about you because you've developed Brandpod. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so I think a lot of us have started using AI already for our research. I think some part of us, like we know, right? We need to know what our market is looking for. We need to know what the gap is. We need to know how to position ourselves. But the mistake that a lot of us are making is that we're just going to ChatGPT and saying, hey, this is my market. This is what I do. ChatGPT knows me so well because I've been talking to it for 3 years now. So it can tell me how to position myself. And the fact is that ChatGPT is not a deep research tool. And so it doesn't actually know actively what your audience is searching for. It doesn't know what the active gaps in your market are. And no, it doesn't know you as well as you think it does, because yes, it's been able to assimilate all these different conversations and it can give you insights about yourself that can feel really cool. And like there's this thing that knows me better than I know myself at this point. But it's giving you very surface level answers because at the end of the day, it's a generative AI tool. It's a generative tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just filling in the blanks for you. So it's telling you, in other words, what it is that it thinks you want to hear. And it's really good at that,
I
which
was
is
like, yeah,
right.
it is. Yeah.
Which is why when you question it, it's going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I assumed this. Or it'll give you some data very confidently. And then you're like, where did you get that from? And it's like, oh, I made that up. Right. So,
I've had that
so
happen where I'm like, where did you, like, are you hallucinating?
yeah.
Like, had to call it out for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that happens a lot. And so think about it. If you are building a personal brand based on what ChatGPT is telling you to do and all of its hallucinations, well, that answers the question of why it's not actually doing what you think it was going to do for you. So
Exactly.
So when you talk about gathering real data, that's where deep research agents come in. Now, there are tools like Madison Perplexity that do some of that. In fact, I talked to PR agencies that tell me that they're starting to use those tools as well. Before, of course, I show them Brandpod. Um, and then, but yeah, so they're using those tools to do some deep research, and you can get more accurate information from those tools over something like ChatGPT and even Claude. I prefer Claude over ChatGPT in general, but like just the data part of it, Claude hallucinates too. And so when you have agents that are built to autonomously, automatically, without you having to tell it every single week, because we're all busy people, no matter how much we put stuff on our calendars, things still slip through the cracks, right? And so you want agents that go out and know what their job is. Their job is to go out every single week. So their job, first of all, actually, let me take a step back, is to understand who you are, the person, the human, right? So many of us are using AI agents. It's like all the craze where we want to use an agent for everything to replace ourselves so we don't have to do anything but sit on a beach and sip on our Mai Tais. But, right? But, and Steph, you can attest to this too. We never want to use AI to replace ourselves with all of the AI clones and avatars that sound so cool. Like you don't want it to replace you, you want it to amplify you. You wanted to understand who you are as a human, as a person. Remember, we talked about your stories and your experiences. That's the stuff that AI can't replicate. Nobody else can replicate. So once you start training AI on what that is, your stories, your experiences, what makes you you, what makes you different, and then you tell that AI to go out and automatically figure out for you week after week what your audience is searching for. What are their search terms related to what it is that you do on Google, on ChatGPT, on Perplexity. Like, go find me every single week all these search terms and then tell me how they relate to my story and give me ideas on how I can write content.
I feel like people that might go over a couple of people's heads. I need you to understand that she's talking about deep research agents that are doing this on your behalf. So once you answer a couple of questions, like the way that you had it for us at AI in Action, we filled out this custom GPT and then it gave us all this stuff. And then in a matter of hours, it did all of the deep research for me. And then even walking away, it would still, hey, Stephanie, here's another podcast that you should be on. Hey, Stephanie, you should pitch this person and all that jazz. So I don't want to bury like all of the cool things that it does, but I need you guys that are tuning in, that are watching. This is very different from just getting like a simple automation in ChatGPT just to notify you like an RSS feed when something happens. These are actual agents that are going out, working on your behalf to say, hey, Ruheene, this is a new podcast. It just hit the charts. You should be here. And this is what you should say. So any other features that you want to talk about for Brandpod before we kind of show them behind the scenes?
Yeah. So before we show them, yeah, this is what we're going to show them too. But yeah, so it's not just content, right? That's the point. That's the point that I was trying to make. It's not just content. It's content is great. Social media content is great. I know I see someone asking.
I know. I was like, see, they want to know. They want to see. I'm like, it is. It's coming, Wiley. Promise.
But yeah, knowing, actually, let's just jump into the demo.
Yeah, let's do it. Is it okay if I switch the screen?
Do it.
All right. Wiley, just for you. So I was like, Ruheene, this is so amazing and this is so cool. This saves me hours of work. And I used to work at a PR agency. So Wiley and everyone else, if you're trying to build your personal brand, please watch this and share this with your team and just be like, look what it's going to do. So I'm actually going to make myself a little bit tinier so we can make the screen bigger if that's cool with you, Ruheene. Is that all right? I'm just going to adjust us. Because I want Wiley to see this. And P.S. for all of you that are tuning in, if you have any questions, be like Wiley and just pop in, drop your questions, and then we'll navigate it throughout the demo. All right, y'all. Yeah. All yours.
I love questions. So yeah, any questions at all, let me know. So this is the inside of Brandpods, and Brandpod is just basically a platform that is it's made up of research agents that find the kind of data that we were just talking about, right? And we're going to look at what that means, but your audience's search terms, what podcasts are trending in your industry, that's over here. So each of these are a different agent. Okay, and so it's going to tell me each week what my ICP is, my ideal customer profile, but I don't like to call them that. It sounds very technical. My ideal customer, what are they searching for? What are their search terms? How can I create content that answers those exact search terms? So I am creating not just content anymore, but what actually matters today, which is answer engine optimized, AEO content, so that the algorithms, they're not just looking anymore at how often you're posting and how consistently you're showing up. They're looking at, are you answering questions that their people, their audience, their users are searching for? It's just that simple. And so this agent tells you what they're searching for and then helps you create content, write content that's going to answer that. We'll look at that. Podcasts are going to tell you exactly what podcasts are trending in your industry every single week, what the host contact details are, what some of the most recent podcast episodes are. Do they accept guests? If they do, who their most recent guests were, how do their stories relate to yours? How do you reach out with an email that feels really personal, like you've been really listening to their podcast, and sharing with them your takeaways before pitching yourself. So it helps you do all of that.
So and then, I have to tell everyone, like, this is all in one place, because before I would have to go to different SaaS tools, like, okay, now I need you to research podcasters over here. Now research this over here, and then go into like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever. Now draft something for me based off of this list, right? This does this all within here. Exactly. Okay.
Exactly. And it does that similarly for, publications. If you want to reach out to third-party magazines and editors to write an article for them, which is a little bit harder to do than podcasts. So we always start with content and podcasts. And then, of course, for events and keynotes as well. And we'll look at that in a second too. But I just kind of wanted to show you the breadth of everything. And so the way these work is that you can do, a few different things. You can actually tell it what your goals are. So let's say your goal is I was just doing a demo yesterday and there was like, I want to do content and get on podcasts, which is why these two are checked, right? And which is where most people will start. So let's say you do that, or that you want to do something else. You can select whatever your goals are. And when you go, let's go, it just walks you through step by step by step what you need to do. So first thing it does is gather information, right? These are your settings. It's going to gather your signature that's going to go in all of your outreach emails. This looks a little weird. I promise it goes out looking just fine. It's just
You
the
mean
whole
it
back.
designed that?
No, no, I designed it, but it just
Oh,
popped
okay.
in.
I was like, wait, there's a design feature in here too, Ruheene? That's new.
Oh, so yeah, so you can pop in your email signature here. It'll just append that to the end of any pitches or follow-up emails that you write from the system.
So it
There's a
sends it out
mailbox.
in the system too?
Yeah, there's a whole mailbox built right in. I'll show you that too. Yeah. And then first person or third person. This means, a lot of founders have a VA or an EA or somebody that reaches out to podcast hosts, to event hosts on their behalf, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a founder that's like, I don't want to write my own pitches, I want my assistant, or maybe I'm a founder who doesn't have an assistant, but I want to pretend I do. We have those users too.
Yeah.
Your secret's safe with us. No, but seriously, like whatever works for you. And I have personally found that both work. I get this question a lot, like which one works better? I think, what do you think,
For the
Steph?
first person or the third person? Okay. So one of the reasons why I was laughing was because I was watching this one podcast of how this founder, she wanted to get more speaking engagements. And so she felt like when she would say, this is my speaker rate as herself, as a woman, the event organizer would be like, oh, we can't do that, da 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 da. But when she had her assistant, Brad, email on her behalf, all of a sudden, when she would say, this is my speaker rate, they're like, okay, great. Can't wait to have her on stage. And so I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to try that here. I think that would be amazing. So as far as like me personally pitching, I think having it in third person would be kind of cool. Like having our VA go out and do that would be amazing. And so I think, let's say Wiley, and for the rest of the crew, if you have a VA who's doing outreach on your behalf, just the fact that this does all of the heavy lifting for the research and what to say, and then the emailing. And I feel like even with your VA, you always want to keep tabs to be like, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? you know, this speeds up the process, but that answers your
Exactly.
question.
Yeah. So yeah, if you do the third person, and then that you're not the first person to say that too, Steph. I mean, so many people have told me that they've seen better response rates when they do it in the third person. I've just always done mine in the first person. Maybe my response rates would be higher with the third person, but my calendar's full. So I always tell people they both work. But yeah, if you're looking to increase your response rates, I do think, that seems to be a popular way to do it. So the system will do that for you. So if you're like, so my make believe assistant's name is Sarah. If you have a real assistant, obviously you can put their name in. Brad works great. You can say executive assistant, virtual assistant, whatever, just assistant, whatever you want. This is how your outreach emails will then get written. So instead of saying, hey, I was listening to your podcast. It'll say, "Hi, I'm Sarah, Raheen's executive assistant, and your podcast really resonated with her. This is the episode that really resonated with her." It really kind of bridges that gap and has someone representing you without trying to replace you, or yeah, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. Can I pause real quick?
Yeah.
So Wiley, he's already asking questions. Say thank you, Wiley. He's saying, can I manage my personal brand and my business? Ideally, I'd like to also use it for my son and his recruitment process. But the third thing would be a nice to have. So is this kind of like you need one user license or you could do multiple brands?
So let's talk about what that is first. So when people ask about brands, I think it's important to note that a business brand is different from a personal brand, right? And most people don't realize that. So we have a different tool called Hey Levi, which is specifically for business brands. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we talk about business brands, we talk about what I think most people think about when they think about a brand, right?
Yeah.
They're thinking about, okay, fine, we know like logos and colors, but beyond that too, understanding your customer avatars, building, your brand's mission, your values, kind of like what Apple does. I mean, that's kind of what we reverse engineered for into Hey Levi to create a brand that actually has meaning, that has value, that ties into the emotional and psychological levels of your ideal customer avatar's brain. That's kind of how Hey Levi works, right? It really goes deep into your customer avatars and speaking their language, and creating sales and marketing content, helping you validate your offers using different formulas and positioning techniques. Again, all learned from the likes of Apple. All of that is built into Hey Levi.
Mm.
Sorry, I know this is a long way to answer that question, but I promise it'll make sense in just a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Brandpod is specifically for you. So I mean, I just condensed and consolidated my businesses, but I was running three different businesses last year.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't need three different accounts for that unless I was on Hey Levi. Then I was actually using three different Hey Levi accounts for each of those business brands. Yeah, that's the one,
Yep.
right? But for me, as a thought leader, I'm just one human. And so I just need one Brandpod account. And what Brandpod helps me do, which is this platform, it helps me understand my story, my experiences as the human, not as my business, but as the human with all of these life experiences, all of these lived experiences. How does that tie in with what podcast hosts are looking for, what event hosts are looking for, what publishers are looking for, right? Like all of that comes into my personal brand. So to answer your question, you can have it's each account is really designed for one brand, but that means you as a personal brand. So if your son wanted his own personal brand because he wants to now start getting on podcasts and going to events and creating content that really reflects his own life experiences versus yours, he would need his own brand pod account.
Got it. Okay.
But for any business branding stuff like sales messaging, or offer validation, heylevi.ai is the platform for it.
There you go. And we'll drop those links in the comments for you guys too in a bit. But
Right.
back to Brandpod.
Yeah. So once you've decided if you want to do this in the third person or first person, it'll ask you for a few things depending on what you've decided you want to do. So like if you are creating it, it helps you create your personal brand website in the platform as well. So if you're doing that, it'll get some things like your theme preference, color preferences, your brand kit. It'll ask you to upload some images or videos of yourself so it can pull those in. It's taking a while to load, probably because I'm sharing my screen. You integrate your Google Drive to it so that when you create content, you can push it right into Google Drive. So it takes you through some of the settings and then it helps you set up your mailbox so you can start sending these pitches and outreach emails and getting responses in your BrandPod inbox. I don't know about you, but I
What?
have.
Okay, wait. Like I'm a very techie person too, okay? And I think even just recently I had to create like a subdomain for something that I was creating in Replit, thanks to Winsome. And I was like, man, this is some brain power. But you're saying in BrandPod, I could set up a sending domain from here again without even having to leave BrandPod.
Correct.
Dude, why are you so cool? You're so cool. I love this. This is okay. So, for those of you that are just tuning in, we're talking about why your personal branding probably isn't getting the lift that you want it to take. And it's mostly because you're probably doing it from a very manual or just kind of like a Frankenstein way of doing this. And so, we're walking through BrandPod to kind of really show you how to leverage AI, but more in depth about deep research agents, which we haven't even just shown you just yet. This is like the setup piece of it. So the magic is going to happen in a little bit because she even just kind of showed you like Google Drive earlier. But let me glaze her real quick. Because when I did this at AI in action, like literally a couple hours later, I had 30 blog posts already done for Captivate on Command. And I was like, are you kidding me? And then it was already in like a Google Drive folder. So if you do have a VA, right, they just grab that, put it up on your blog, and then you're Gucci, you're good to go. So all right, love, back to you.
Yes. So, yeah, you create your mailbox, you set up your domain, and then here comes the cool part. So, your research agents in BrandPod are already designed to autonomously run. I said that before, right? So, you have research agents that each have a job. One of them is to find what your audience's search terms are. Another one is to find what podcasts are trending in your industry each week. Another one is to find the events that are coming up in your niche over the next couple of quarters.
Events
What
like
top?
conferences,
Yep, yep,
meetups.
yep, yep.
Okay.
What not just events and meetups, but where they are geographically from you, how far they are, when they are happening, so you can plan ahead, what topics they are looking for in their speakers, helping you create keynote slides right within BrandPod to for those topics, and how to apply. It'll give you your MC bio, your speaker bio, the have you know, Steph, you've filled out an application form before, right? For a
Of
speaker
course. Of
application.
course. Yeah. I
Yeah.
just reached out to DigiMarcon today. I was like, hey, you guys are coming in San Diego in November. Do you need my stuff?
Hey, sign me up for that one.
Oh,
Actually.
for sure. I got you.
Anyway, so when you fill out these speaker application forms, they're usually very similar to each other.
Yeah.
They always have the same questions, right? Like it's the same, very similar kind of questions. Like, okay, what is your topic? Of course, give me like a a 2 3 sentence description of your topic, and then it talks about who this is for, and then it asks what is your audience going to take away with from your topic, from your keynote. And all these different things. And so it gives you all of that. It basically shows you how to fill out a form, copy paste it, send it,
Sure.
all of that.
So
In
that's three
fact,
agents, the calendar, the podcast. What was the other one?
the content,
Oh, okay.
the
Content writer.
search, so the search agents, the content writer, the podcast, the events, and then the publications. 5.
5. Okay.
And then this is automated for podcasts only right now. Publications and events are coming. We're working on that right now. But what you can now do is start to figure out how automated do you want this process to be. The research agents run autonomously. Then they hand over that data. Remember how we talked about like you don't have the time to figure out what to do with that data?
Sure.
No one wants to be trying to figure out what to do with it. So it will then hand over all the data that it finds, each of the agents will hand it over to an automation agent that will take that data, connect the dots with your brand profile, and write your pitches or your follow-ups, depending on how often you want it to do that. And then you can say, I want it fully automated, where it doesn't just write the pitches and the follow-ups and put it in draft in my draft folder for me. It actually sends it out for me too. Like I just tell me when I get a response in my inbox. So you can do that.
Hold on. That's crazy. So fully all automated.
Fully automated,
I'm
yeah.
like literally I'm just filling out these 7 steps, right?
Yep.
And then by step 7, if I say fully automated, it's going to run it. It's going to do everything for me. And all I basically have to do is check my inbox to see if I have something booked. I got a speaking engagement or just follow-ups. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that. And shout out to our girl, Vanessa Cabrera, who's in the house.
Hey, Vanessa.
I know. Nice to see you, Vanessa. Okay. So for those of you that are watching, because I see the numbers climbing up on the stream, we're talking about why your personal brand isn't taking off the way that it should be. And it's most likely because of the fact that you're doing it very manual and there's all these different tools and things that you're trying to cobble together just to get a pitch out the door. So fully automated on BrandPod does everything for you as far as finding which conferences, which events you should be at, the podcast that you should be on, writing that pitch, sending it out, does it do follow-ups too? Like if I say like, hey, I pitched this person, I reached out to Vanessa, I haven't heard back. Will fully automated reach out again on my behalf and say, let me tap her again?
Yep. And you don't have
What?
to tell it. Out. It knows you haven't received a response because it's right in here. So it knows, it's watching, it's listening. And if you don't get a response within your time frame, you can tell it, which is right down here. Follow-up time frame. Follow-up 1. I wanted it to happen in this many days. If I don't hear back, another 3 days. If I don't, you can make this 7 days, 5 days. You don't have to be as pushy as I am. I like to do things in 3 days.
I love that. Oh,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And then it does it based on that. So, okay, going back. So you could do everything manual, which I don't recommend. This is mostly for agencies that really want to do this manually for every single client because they have the team to do it.
Mm.
If you are a founder, you're doing this for yourself, or you have a VA that's doing it for you, you don't have this big team that is like, that's their full-time job is to just do this for you manually. And even if it is, honestly, the manual mode is for very specific kinds of agencies. Semi-automated or fully automated are the ways to go. Fully automated, like we just talked about, will send out your pitches, send out your follow-ups, only let you know, and actually create your content for you too. Only let you know when you receive a reply in your inbox, and then it'll stop the automations and then let you know in your personal inbox or whatever you sign up for BrandPod with. It'll just shoot you an email there and say, hey, you got a response from this and so host. Jump back
Wow.
and take it from here.
That's crazy. So do you have like a dashboard that also says, hey, Stephanie, this is how many pitches that went out. This is how many it's pending. This is how many you won.
That's going to be in our agency model for agencies running this for clients.
Let's go. Okay, I love it. All right, what's next?
So then you tell it. So everything that comes back, like podcasts, in this case, we're just talking about podcasts because that's what's automated right now. Again, events
Sure.
and publications are coming, but it will categorize
Got
these
it.
podcasts on a strong fit, moderate fit, or weak fit based on what it already knows about you and what's in your brand profile. You can tell it if you are turning on automations, then obviously we're assuming you want to reach out to your strong fit podcasts. If you also want more volume because you want more responses and you're really just trying to get out there, and this works beautifully. We have users who turn this on and they're like, oh my God, now I don't have time to eat lunch because I'm doing podcasts every single day. So this works, and this is only if you really want the volume.
Uh-huh.
Or you could also be like, even if it's not the perfect fit, like I just want to get out there, you can also turn on low fit, right? So I have mine on strong fit and moderate fit. You can have just strong fit as well. Tell it exactly what your follow-up time frame is so that the agents will then create your follow-up drafts or actually send them out depending on what you're on, semi-automated or fully automated, and send them out for you.
Okay. Oh,
Okay,
I have a feature request before my brain like lets it go.
good, good.
Can I upload a list of people that I already know so that way when it's drafting the pitch, like I know Vanessa, right? So I'd be like, or let's say it's Robert. I'd be like, I know Robert Kennedy and I know that he does an annual conference about live streaming. So rather than like writing a pitch as if I don't know him, can BrandPod make it like a friendlier pitch like, hey, it was so much fun being there last year. Would love to hop again. What are your plans? Or is that
You
like, is
probably
that a
want to do that
feature?
on semi-automated then.
Semi-automated. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because it has no way of knowing that. So either you want to just be like, just run it for me, and then like just tell me when I get a response, or semi-automated is when it will do the research, right? It gets handed over to your automation agents. Your automation agents will write the pitch for you. By the way, we also, for those of you that understand what a CRM is and tracking pipelines, there's a whole pipeline in here, so you can actually see where in your pipeline each of your opportunities are. So we'll look at that too. And that's what it's actually showing you here. So you get to pick exactly what your time frame is between not just your pitches and your follow-ups, but if you don't hear from them again after the third follow-up, that doesn't mean you want to just give up. You give them a cool-off period. Usually it's 90 days, 180 days, right? Again, I'm pushy. I'm actually just testing this, so I've got it on the lower end. So I've got 60 days.
Yeah.
Typically 90 to 180 days is what's good. And then you can re-engage them, not just in the same way you did 3 months ago, 6 months ago, but it will take new data, new information that it grabs from that podcast, new episodes that they just released since the last time you reached out, what's
Mm-hmm.
new about you and your brand profile, connect the dots, and then reach out to them again.
That's so sick. Okay, what's next?
Okay, and then same thing with your automation. You can turn on automation. So every time your research agents run, you're like, okay, the ICP agents are going to give you what my audience is searching for. Hand that over to my automation agents, you content agent, pick it up from there and go write all of my content for me. So you said 30 blogs, it will create up to 30 blogs, 30 email newsletters based on things that your audience is actually searching for that week, up to. So it doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to have 30 blogs every single week. You could be like 5 or 10 or 1,
Yeah, I
whatever.
was all like 30 blogs a week. But no, I totally get it. Yeah, yeah. That's so cool. Okay.
But it will do it for you if you ask it to. So you tell it how many topics, and then you tell it which channels to write for, and it will do it and automatically save it to your Google Drive.
Yeah. This is
Okay.
amazing. So, like, one thing that I want to add for folks too is like, let's say you're writing a book, right? And you want to have like a book tour. I mean, maybe you don't want to have this on fully automated like 24/7 for all 12 months of the year, but let's say you have a digital summit that's launching, right? Robert Kennedy, RK3, or you have a book that's dropping, or like, let's say one of my clients tomorrow is dropping a new song on Spotify. Like, you can work towards things like that.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly.
All right,
Yep.
love. What else you got?
Then, because we're writing content, we know how brand voices are important because you want your AI to actually write like you, or at least try to get as close as possible. You can actually have your own brand voices in here. It will take whatever's marked as your default brand voice, which in my case is Raheen's Best Life, because why not?
What is it?
Raheen's Best Life. That's what I like to call my default brand voice.
Oh, that's funny.
You can name it whatever you want. And so what it does is you feed it examples of your writing when you're doing this. You just have to do it once, and
Yeah.
it goes really deep. I'm not going to spend the rest of this call on just this live just on this, but you can see it goes really
Can
deep.
you like what is it? Control Shift Plus so that it's bigger? Because I don't need to see like the left nav window. I want them to actually see like linguistic profile, rhetoric. Yeah, thank you.
On it in your face.
I do. Just because Robert's probably looking out on his phone. So
There, I forgot
perfect.
that I can actually collapse the menu too. So there we go.
You're the best.
Um, but yeah, hopefully you can see this. So again, you're going like your emotional, the emotion that you put into your writing, your linguistic profile. Again, I'm not going to read each of these. It's going to take me the
Yeah.
rest of the life, but like it goes really deep is all I'm going to say.
Nice. So it gives
Right.
you writing examples too.
Yeah. And you can edit this, make sure that it's on point, and then it will use this to write your content for you. Now,
Hmm.
keep in mind that it won't use it for your pitches and your outreach emails because there is a specific professional standard that we already know. We've been collecting a lot of data. There's that word again. We already know what's working, what people are responding to, what hosts are responding to. And so we don't mess with that. We don't try and add personality in that. If you really want to add your personality and you want it to be perfect, I would say go on semi-automated mode. It will create those drafts for you. You make it perfect and then you send it out.
Got it. Robert's saying in my face. He's on desktop, but he wants it bigger. Bigger is better. I know. I was like, RK3, like you have to see this. This is so cool. Okay, so we've done the brand voice. What else?
Yep. Yep. Okay, so this is what I mean by your audience's search terms and creating content based on this. I'm actually going to skip this because there's a cooler way to show you that. So
Sure.
let's in that. Let's look at this first. Let's look at podcasts. Okay. So each week it will pull in exactly which are the trending podcasts in my industry. You can see that because I have automation turned on, it automatically adds all of my strong fit and moderate fit because that's what I have in my settings. See, there's one that's a weak fit. It ignored it because in my settings I said ignore weak fit, right? Anything
Hmm.
that has a strong fit or a moderate fit, add. This one is a strong fit. It probably just got added because it is not in my pipeline. But if I expand this, it's pulling in the podcast information, right?
Yep.
It's telling me access. By the way, Steph, did you notice something? You asked me to do something and I did it. I did it.
Yeah,
Are
the
you seeing
host,
me?
right? It's like, do they accept guests?
Yeah, you were like, it
Yes.
needs to be higher. Like I don't have to, I shouldn't have to
I
expand
was
to
like,
see.
don't make me expand. Save me a click, y'all.
Yeah, so we did that. It was like buried in here, but we pulled up accepts guests or not, and then email found or not, so you know exactly. It will tell you who their previous guests have been, what industry those guests have been from. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Their contact information, so the podcast hosts contact information, their YouTube channel. So if you want to leave them a review, something that I learned from Steph, which has worked amazingly well, by the way, which Steph
Everybody loves a
told.
review. Listen, if you haven't written a LinkedIn recommendation for someone or commented on somebody's podcast by leaving them a review, everyone loves a review, especially when you take all that time to create a run a show, edit, promote, and all that jazz. Like, show them some love, give them their flowers.
Yeah. I literally had somebody respond to my one of my pitches from Brandpod, a podcast host who said, "Yes, but before I send you my booking link, will you leave me a review?" And I'm like, "Yes, I will." Because Brandpod wrote my review for you already. All I have to do is copy and paste it and make you so happy.
Let's
So
go.
yeah. So yeah, so it writes reviews for these podcast hosts as well. I'll tell you how it does that. So you see how it's pulling in all this information, right? For each one.
Mm-hmm.
It's pulling in the latest 5 episodes of this podcast.
That's
It
great.
is listening to the transcripts. You can listen to them here too, but it is already doing that for you. It's listening to the last 5 episodes, finding some sort of a connection point with your story and who you are and what you do and what you teach and what you talk about.
Hold on,
Yeah.
because you talk so fast and I want people to like marinate in this for a hot second. So you're already telling BrandPod, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, these are the products, the services, this is what I have to offer. So it's going to
Yep.
listen to these targeted podcasts. It's going to listen to these podcasts. It's going to have the transcripts and it's going to say, oh, since you, Ruheene, talk about this, this podcast would be great because there's alignment. It makes sense. So you're not blindly pitching just because of the name of the podcast, but you could see consistently from the past 5 episodes, there's
Yes.
alignment with what they're talking about and their messaging. You fit into that mold.
Yes. And then it writes your pitches based on that connection point. And I'm going to show you that too. But anyway, so this is everything that it's doing. It's creating that. Now it is because, so my automation agents, because again, I have it on semi-automated, right? So it found this podcast for me. It added it to my pipeline. Let's take a quick look at what that looks like. I can't see it. So it's like way too big on my screen. I'm getting
Oh,
used to
I
it.
see. But it looks so good to me in RK3. It looks so good.
Blinded. Okay, so it automatically adds it to my account, right? So it adds all of these to my account here. Once I have sent my first pitch, it's gonna automatically move it to the next part of my pipeline, and then it tracks it based on where it is. And then if I get a response, I can put it into booking or booked. So this one I literally just booked last Friday. We got on a podcast on Monday. It was amazing. The host asked me on the podcast live, how did you find me? And I told her exactly how I found her through Brandpod. And she was like, what? AI knows who I am? So if you're one of those people who's like, I don't even, like, I would, if you're wondering, like, if I'm using this and a podcast host asks me, like, how am I pitching them? How am I doing this? I can't tell them I'm using AI because that's going to be inauthentic. Hey, honestly, this is not the first time this has happened where somebody has been super excited that AI has picked them up and told you to reach out to them and helped you write the pitch.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Again, people want validation for the work that they put into the content that they're creating. And starting a
Yeah.
podcast, as much as people want to say it's easy, it's not that easy because it takes a level of commitment to create consistent episodes that people want to listen to and then be known for that.
Exactly. So, yep. And then once you're done, you can just, track it yourself and let it know that you completed the podcast, or if it doesn't go through, like I had somebody reach out to me and say, hey, great. Yeah, I'd love to have you on my podcast. It's going to be $797 to get on it. And it wasn't a fit for me. That's not the
Yeah.
kind of money I'm looking to spend to be interviewed on that podcast. So I said no. And, I dropped them in this lost opportunity thing.
Got it.
So full pipeline. But here's the magic. And actually, before I do that, because I know I'm going to forget, podcast reviews. So for every pitch, every time that it puts a podcast in your pipeline, writes the pitch for you, it's also taking that pitch and turning it into a review. So they're connected. It's meaningful. It's like
Oh,
you
so it's
actually,
like there's like a relational.
yeah.
See, my Notion brain just went. "Ah." But for the podcast review, I manually still have to go into Spotify, Apple, and all the things, copy paste it in there. Yeah, because
Because
it's tied to an account.
yeah, exactly. You have to
Okay.
log into your Spotify, your YouTube, your iTunes, whatever it may be. So that's not something we can automate. We just drop all the reviews for you here. So you can see that I have like 46 reviews that I haven't posted. But if you have a VA coming in and doing this, it does increase your chances of getting a response. It increases your response rate. So definitely do it. If you're doing this for yourself, every once in a while, like if it's a podcast you really want to be on, just copy and paste this in.
I mean, you and I both have kids, so I feel like at this point, I'm just going to be paying my daughter. I'm like, you're going to earn a little income. Copy paste, copy paste. Mommy gets a tax break.
Yeah, our kids. Our kids to do this too. So yeah.
Yep.
All right, so all the reviews are there. And then if I go into my mailbox, again, because I'm on semi-automated mode, if I was on fully automated mode, everything would just be in my sent folder and show me all the pictures and things that have gone out. But because I'm on semi-automated mode, here are all the drafts that it's drafted for me between new pitches from the research agents that have found opportunities and passed it on to pitches that I've sent out, but I haven't heard back yet. And so now it is telling me that it's time to send a follow-up. And here's the follow-up. So it'll tell you like where it is in your pipeline. And you go in and you edit and hit send. So
Oh my God, I have goosebumps. Dude, that's so cool. Ruheene.
So let me actually, hold on. This is the follow-up. I was trying to show you what an actual,
Yeah. And while you do that, shout out to Wiley, RK3, Vanessa, the rest of the crew. If you guys have questions, by all means, drop your questions in the comments because the first time I saw this at AI in action, I was like, Ruheene, we need to talk. We need to talk. I got friends to introduce you to.
I got friends. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm trying to show you some examples of the pitches because these really, at least to me, they don't sound like ChatGPT written pitches, which I'm told all the time.
Yeah.
Uh, Hosts tell me all the time that they get so many ChatGPT written pitches in their inbox. And they're like, archive, archive, like, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a guy who's actually got a pretty big personal brand already. I won't take names, but he really has been wanting to get on this really big dude's podcast. Like usually it's $3,000 to get on his podcast. And that guy was also hosting an event. So he has his VA running his account. He didn't even realize that the Brandpod agents had already pulled that up as an opportunity. His VA sent that pitch out on his behalf. He had no idea. He goes to this event, sees the guy, and he's like, "Oh, I should go introduce myself." So he walks up to him. He's like surrounded by people, right? He walks up to this guy and he's like, "Hi, my name is so and so," and the host goes, "Oh." Like, yes, repeats his name and like pulls out his phone and says, "I know you. You emailed me, right?" Pulls out his phone, opens up his inbox and goes, "There, that's you, right?" And the guy's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, that's me." He had
Dude,
no idea,
that's
but
so cool. That's
so
amazing.
talk about staying top of mind because the pitches that you're sending out from the platform are meaningful, personalized pitches. And they're like for a guy like that to know who this guy was just because BrandPod wrote him a pitch, to me, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I'm reading the copy too, and like you said, it just feels very conversational, like it's actually coming from a human being. Because I get what you mean as far as like, oh, that's AI. It's the compare contrast formula. It's not this, it's that.
Oh, I can't stand that. I cannot do it's not this, it's that. I keep yelling at Claude all the time because when I use Claude, it does that all the time. And I'm like,
Stop
it's
it.
in my project instructions. Stop doing that. Anyway. All right. Also, by the way, this is a compliance thing because these are supposed to be personalized pitches, but they are automated. We don't want people to start marking you as spam, right? So instead of having an unsubscribe link that immediately screams, "Hey, this is an automated email," we have a little line at the end, which is just automatically, it cycles through different variations of this for different people, and it just automatically adds it to your outreach emails to say, "Hey, this is not the right time. Let me know." Like, totally cool. So, yeah.
That's very cool.
Yep. Okay, so let's see. Any
Because
questions? I feel like I'm going over a
no,
lot.
I feel like everyone is just like clicking around and like looking. They just want to know all the things. Okay, so if you're just joining us, because I see the numbers going up and down, we're talking about how to leverage BrandPod to get you on as many podcasts that you want to be on, because it'll do the deep research for you based off of like your stories, your messaging, and all that other stuff. It'll draft the pitch for you, send it out for you, whether it's fully automated or semi-automated. And then there's these other pitch assets that you can have as well. So there's the personal brand website, which we haven't talked about yet, brand magnets, keynotes builder, and oh, the micro set, that's new.
Those are things that are being built out right now, but you can actually build your personal brand website right inside. I'll show you what it looks like, but you can build it right inside of BrandPod, continue to host it. By the way, if you're like on an account and one of our Lite or Pro accounts and you build out any of these assets and then you decide to cancel your account, we don't think we should be taking all of your hard work down. So we continue to host it,
No
even if you're not
way. Stop.
host everything that you build inside the platform.
Oh,
So.
that's okay. First of all, that's very nice because there's this other one that would do that, but you had to license it. And as soon as your subscription ended, they're like, and now you can no longer promote the thing that you just built.
I mean, we all like getting paid. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
If you're you want to get paid, but posting honestly is so not gonna lie, it's just so cheap for us. So just wanted to put that out there because I know people are always like, oh, I'm gonna build it on this, and then like if I ever decide to like pause my subscription, my website's gonna go down. No, none of that. It just continues to work.
Love it.
But yeah, it just took everything from my brand profile and just created this. Like I didn't say this is what I want you to create. It just I was like, create my website, and I created
It
it.
made you a website. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You can actually, it might be easier to
No, that's
see.
amazing. Because I mean, I know that Claude Design came out and whatnot, and that's like an additional add this to your subscription and did it. But this is all encompassing in Brandpod. So I need you guys to like wake up. Like if this is one of the things that you really want to do to start building your personal brand, this is the smartest way to do it. And the fact that it's all in one, I mean, that's amazing. It even
Yeah.
has your headshots in there. Oh, because you uploaded it. Dude, that's so cool.
That's for my media library. So you have a whole media library in here in your settings, media library. This is what
Hmm.
wasn't loading earlier. So it just took my images or, well, this part it actually asks you which images do you want to put in each section, and then you tell it like choose your images after uploading it or videos, uploading it to your media library, and then it just adds it in there. And then you can kind of, if you're familiar with vibe coding, you can, it's a similar thing where you can vibe code your brand website, tell
Yeah,
it, okay, move this, change this, and there are different modes, and it's very easy to do. You don't have to actually know how to code anything.
that's
Um,
awesome.
but yeah, so it does a very similar thing for events and for publications. And then it creates all of your social content for you, which we just talked about. But just to show you events, because I feel like that's a little
Yeah,
bit
I was like,
different.
show the events because the events is. I mean, I love the blog posts and the articles, but I feel like the events is really you can leverage that, right? Because
Yeah.
if they're recording your talk, you could repurpose that. You get to meet a whole slew of people. Go for it.
Yeah. So again, very similar, but it will tell you the event date. It will tell you where it's happening. You have all these filters, like if you want to look for specific kinds of events. I'm speaking at an online women's tech conference on May 14th that I got through Brandpod, and like literally
Yay!
just found it for me, showed me how to pitch myself. I literally just copied and pasted, and I got the gig, and it's a huge. Um, Tech online conference. So it does it for both online summits and in person. So if you're like, I'm all tapped out, I'm not going to be traveling anymore, you still want to do like some online events, it'll do both for you.
Okay, so then feature request. Will
Oh,
it also tell you if some events are paid and some aren't?
no, and that's one thing that I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to crack, excuse me, I'm trying to figure out how to get that information. It's really hard because the way these agents work is that they scrape all like hundreds of thousands of websites and URLs in
Okay,
your
this is how
industry.
I would do it in my brain, in my world. You know all of those speaker associations? So those
Yeah,
speaker associations have speakers that get paid for a certain fee. So in their
yeah,
bios, they'll say like, and these are all the events that they've spoken at. So those conferences would already tell you that this person gets paid to speak at this event. So that would tell me if I'm reverse engineering it, I should go hit up this conference because I know that they've already paid this person that much. If their base is like let's say 20K, that's low. 35, 50K for a keynote, girl, I'm going to go for that. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So I don't know if your
Okay.
agents can do that where you tap into specific speaker associations and be like, hey, so and so is on their roster. Like James
Ah,
Hicks is on their roster, and I know James Hicks is charging like 50 grand a pop for his keynotes. So then I want to know, show me all the conferences that this man speaks at because I know that he gets paid. So then now I'm going to pitch. Does that make sense?
yeah, 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 yeah. That's brilliant. I'm gonna do it. Okay. Why didn't you tell me this earlier? Okay.
This is why I have friends. I have smart friends that know how to do it. I have the ideas, and I'm just like, now I need you to like execute it, and then let's go.
Yes, ma'am. Coming right up. But anyway, so yeah, it'll tell you if it's found in email. Now, for events, it is harder to find email because usually for events, if you want to speak at an event, they have application forms. It is harder to find a host's email on their event websites than it is for podcasts because when you start a podcast, when you're on iTunes, you have to put in an email. So it's a lot easier for us to get that. So you will find some events that don't have an email, but it's going to show you that right here. And if you expand it, It will, let's see. Okay, so for this one, it didn't even find the website, but for a lot of them, it will actually show you the event website. So you see this one has event website. So even if there's no email, you can go to the event website and then obviously there's usually a speaker application form right here.
Yeah.
Accept, and so speakers. All right, it's somewhere. I usually dig around and I find it, and then it tells you exactly what topics they are looking for. And you can, because it already has an email, if I say send email, it will add this to my pipeline. So let's do it. So it's added it to an account. So I'm going to say start tracking. Sure, looks good. And now it's giving me possible keynote titles that match what I speak about, what my secret sauce is. It already knows all this, connecting it to what this specific event is looking for, all those topics. And it's like, hey, what about some of these? Okay, so I'm like,
This is crazy. I mean, can you filter it just by like all TEDx events?
so TEDx is something that is not in the platform yet. That's another thing that is in the works because they work differently. So that's coming soon, but you can filter by specific, and I forgot to show this in podcast too. You can actually look for specific podcasts too. So let's say your research agents haven't found something, you can find specific ones. But TEDx specifically is not on the platform yet. That will be coming soon because that's a whole different way of approaching that, and we're
Okay.
going to be doing that. Yeah. But from here, if you have an email, now this is again not typical because if you are applying to speak, usually there's an application form.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, without even doing this, because you guys have seen what the pitches look like, let me show you what that looks like. So keynote recommendations, right? It will show you all based on the keynotes, no, based on the events that are coming up that we just looked at. It's
Yeah.
already looked at all the topics that those events are looking for. And it's come up with this list of keynotes that would work for me. If I expand it, this is all the stuff that you copy and paste into your speaker application. So what is the core message? What is it about? It's written in the third person just so you can copy and paste it in, but you can change it if you need to. What are the
This is what
key?
you would have the VA do because the AI agent isn't filling out the forms, right?
We have a Chrome extension coming. It's in the works, which will do that for you
I
as
am
well.
so
But yeah,
glad I asked all these questions.
so a lot of it is coming soon. But yeah, this you just copy and paste it for
Dude,
now.
that's so
That's
dope. I like that. Okay.
yeah, and then what is the audience going to walk away with, and all of that, and who the audience, who is this specifically for? So
I think
again,
that's
right?
really important. Yeah, the target audiences, because sometimes you want to make sure that you're in the right rooms.
Exactly, exactly. And every speaker application form asks you specifically what audience your topic is for,
Can I
right?
ask for a feature request?
Mhm.
I would want to know who is sponsoring those events because it's nice to have a target audience, but when you know that the event is backed by Amazon, backed by whatever fill in the bank big brand sponsor, then that tells me, okay, that's the A team. Those are the enterprise level folks that I want to play with. But also as a speaker, I mean, James knows this. I'll roll up to a sponsor booth and be like, hey, I'm Stephanie and I'm one of the keynote speakers, or hey, I'm Stephanie, I'm one of the speakers, I'm leading a workshop. That helps me as a speaker land more speaking engagements. Does that make sense? So being able to see like dollar bills, who's got the who's got the money at these events,
Yeah.
I would prioritize that too. So again, just how my brain works.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm taking notes on the side here. But yeah, so if you can actually go in and edit any of these things, and if you're like, oh, I want to change the hook or I want to change the core message, like I want to really dial this in, it's
Mm.
given you the blueprint, like the outline. You go and dial it in. Once you're happy with it, you save it, and then you can say generate my keynote. This is how many slides I need because this is how long my session is. I'm going to keep it at 5, even though I've never given a 5-minute keynote. I don't even think they exist. Up to 45 minutes, right? It's just going to take longer if I do 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say generate. We'll give it a couple of minutes. It's going to create all my slides for you just so I can show you. It's going to create them in Google Slides. Again, my Google Drive is connected. So it creates the keynotes, puts it in there, puts speaker notes in there. So I have a starting point. It's also using my brand kit for my colors, making sure that that's on my slides. So it's not going to be super fancy,
Yeah.
but I think, would be great, right? Um, But
$1,000 per minute. Sorry.
this is all going to be like Gamma style eventually, but right now it just gives you a starting point with Google Slides. So again,
I
it
mean,
takes a couple of
okay, I actually like that it's not Gamma style because there was this one time I went to a conference and it was back to back Gamma. I was like, you guys. So I think that would be interesting. Okay, so here's a question from James. Is BrandPod mobile ready? Because, oh yeah, we're at events and having those on spot conversations, pull out our phone and gather all this info. Oh,
yeah. So it is mobile optimized, but it doesn't have all the features on mobile that it has on desktop for that reason, because it's optimized for mobile. So when you're at an event and you're having conversations and you want to take a quick note, or somebody just asked you something and you're like, you know what, that would make a really good blog post, you can do that on mobile really quickly. So
do you have like
yeah,
you know, when they have those, sorry. Oh, babe, I just realized it's already been an hour. Do you still have time?
I do. We are at time, but we can definitely like,
So you know how when
yeah.
you're at events and they're like, "Oh, let me tap your card." Can BrandPod have something like, "Let me tap your card," but then it shows you like all my speaker stuff?
Oh, but no, but we can do that. That's pretty easy.
See, you guys, this is why I like having my friends on my show because then I can ask for certain
Why
things.
not?
All right, James. All right, RK3. What else are we thinking here? Okay, so
That
it's,
question though. So I'm not going to switch to my mobile view, but just to show you, I swear I'm like blinded right now by this big screen on my screen. So give me a
but
second.
it
I'm
looks
like,
so good to us. I'm just telling you.
I'm glad.
BrandPod
I'm glad.
NFC. That's funny.
Okay. So this stuff is what you have on mobile. So you want to have your podcast agents and all of that. Although now that we have automation agents, we are going to slowly start adding in mobile things that make sense for mobile. Right now, it's mostly Notepad and content for the mobile version of this. So if you open up your account on a mobile device, you have your Notepad where you can quickly take notes, right? You just say new note, like put in a note, and then when you go into your content agent, you can pick topics later or on the spot, and just send it off to agents and be like, here, create this content, create my blog for me on this topic. Or here are 5 topics, 5 things that came up in my conversations at this event. I'm just going to save them on my notepad. When I go back to my room in the evening, I'm just going to be like, here, take all 5 topics and create my social content for me.
Oh, I love that because sometimes I'll literally just be like, "Oh, I just saw Karen in the lobby and we had this really fun conversation about X, Y, and Z," and then boop, social media
Exactly.
post.
Yeah. So you can do all of this on the go. So it's like here, it just brought in my note from here. This is not a note that I would create content on, but you get it, right? And then I'll be like, okay, cool. Which ones do you want? Like, do you want your blog? Like, do you want to email? Do you want some LinkedIn posts? What do you want? And you select like multiple things and just, yeah, create it, send it off.
That's dope. That's cool. I'm loving this. Okay, so shout out to Karen, to James, to RK3, Wiley, and the rest of the crew that are tuning in. Is there anything else that you want to show us? Can you quickly just show all the content, the blog posts? Because literally, you guys, when I sat down, like 3 hours later, I had 30 blog posts already downloaded to a Google Drive. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, look.
Yeah. So this cool. So like, cool. It just created based on whatever topics it selected for me. It's created my email newsletter with subject lines and everything, right? It's got, again, it's using my brand voice for this. So it's like very personalized to me. It's actually,
Will you eventually have an integration where it'll just like go into my kit,
yes.
mykit.com? Stop. Woo! Look at you.
So
You're so fancy. I like it.
for context, we released this platform at the end of September. So it's been what, 7 months, if I'm counting right? We're 7 months old. So we have all the integrations, a lot of stuff coming still.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff, yeah. So, yep. And then all my LinkedIn posts are here. And then, yeah, just all of it here. My blog posts are here because I know we talked about blogs
Do you see
earlier.
yourself adding like a scheduler eventually? It just feels like it would, or some type of bulk CSV where you could just import it into a scheduler. But I mean, you might as well
Yep.
just put the nail in the coffin on the schedulers and just add your own. It doesn't make any sense to.
We are creating our own scheduler that will connect to Meta, LinkedIn, yeah, and a few other
Okay.
things. So, yeah, all of that's coming. And then all of these blog posts, something that we learned at AI in Action, which is super cool, is AEO, right? Answer engine optimization. You want your frequently asked questions at the end so that all of these, LLMs and search engines out there, including Google, including LLMs, can find your content because you have it's all scannable. You'll see that the entire thing is scannable. And B, you have your FAQs at the end. And so that's how it gets found.
Shout out to the girl, Jenna. We need to have her on the show too so she could show her
Yeah,
magic because she had a really great presentation as well. I love
it's
this.
awesome.
This is awesome. This is amazing. Did we miss anything? We covered all the things, didn't we?
I mean, we didn't talk about publications, but that's a whole like new live that we should
But
probably
we're
do
going
on
to do
that.
that in May because I got a sneak peek of that last night and I was like, girl, are you for real?
And we're currently building out the automation agents for that. So it'll be cooler to show off once the automation agents are in place for that.
I like that. Yeah, because there's a lot of conferences. I mean, you and I can talk about this offline as far as like where you should demo that. Like literally, I would be like, it would make sense for you to sponsor like this event, have a booth there, show them how to use it, especially if you're able to white label it. Yeah.
The white label part, do you
Yeah.
want me to talk
Yeah.
really?
Talk to me about that. Can you white label Brandpod?
You cannot white label Brandpod.
Okay. Not that it
Uh,
matters because I feel like most clients will just want to know, am I booked? Oh, you're showing it now. Let's go.
So Six Scoop is our new brand that's going to be for agencies specifically. Now, this is not going to be, if you're familiar with High Level, this is not going to be a white label your own software kind of thing. It's white label your report. So this is for agencies doing this for clients. You don't want them to have to look at Brandpod or something, and you want to do all the white label reports and all your Google Docs and everything that you export and send to your clients. You want it to have your brand, your agency's brand on it, or your client's brand on it. You can do all that through this. This is currently being built out. We are going to have it ready for in beta by the end of next month. So by the end of May, it's currently in waitlist mode. So if you want to get on our waitlist and get a notification as soon as this is released, we're going to do a big workshop on it. So if you want to know when that workshop is, just sign up for the waitlist and then we will let you know. So yeah, oops, that wasn't what I meant to
I love
do.
that you have like a million tabs.
I know. And can you, like, this is not even my main screen. I opened this just for,
I felt that. Yeah.
I'm not going to show you what my actual one looks like. But
No,
anyway,
you're
so
good.
yes, this is literally for agencies who want to have multiple clients that they run this kind of thing for, have nice white label dashboards and reports that they can send their clients. That's what this is going to be.
Okay. Question about Brandpod. Is that US only? Or do you see that expanding into like APAC, Europe, other
It
languages, perhaps?
it does languages. It does languages. So if you want to create content, for example, in other languages, it does that already.
Will it pitch in
Um,
other languages?
yeah. Don't ask me how good it is because I only use English. So if anyone wants to try, it's there.
Yeah.
But if you want to try it out and let me know, that'd be great. Yeah, but so this is what we were talking about earlier. You actually go through a whole like conversation with the custom GPT that we are building into the platform. But once it discovers your story and it fills out all of this for you, actually, no, that's not what I was going to tell you. What I was going to tell you is this. You can pick your country. Um, where's the language? There. So it does all of these different languages. You can pick your language from here and it will do all of your content writing and social content and all of that in whatever language you select here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, is there Tagalog? No, there's no Tagalog. No, I'm just kidding. Or is it Filipino? Maybe. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Maybe with
I
an
don't know.
F.
Yeah. Any languages that you don't see here, it's not hard for us to add it in. So you can always just send us a message, like very easy to get a hold of us from inside the platform. You just do this get help thing, send us a note, and then we have town halls every Friday where our users give us feedback, just like Steph's been giving us here, all the gold. Um, and we go and like execute, make it happen for you.
I love it. This is absolutely amazing. So for those of you, if you haven't had a chance to scan that beautiful QR code over there, that'll drive you over to Brandpod and that'll give you an opportunity to test drive this and see if it's something that's something you want to do for yourself, something that you want to do for your clients. Ruheene and her team are so great at walking you through the process. And I think you even had a workshop where you're like, if you want this to be your business and you're offering this as a service, like, don't you teach people how to do that too?
Yeah, we have a 7-week program where we teach you how to add this to your services. So if you're a branding agency or a marketing agency and you're not quite sure how the PR, media, personal branding, thought leadership stuff works, we train you to do it for yourself and for clients, and then we give you all the tools. So you actually get a discount on Six Scoop and everything if you go through that program as well. And we set you up. So we give you all the templates. We give you like a white label sales page to sell that service. We show you, obviously, you don't want them to go through our custom GPT. So to gather their story, we show you how to do it in a podcast style interview. And we give the whole blueprint on the kind of questions to ask and what you're trying to unearth. And that's the only human intervention part. So you do that for them. You get them on the platform, and then the platform takes care of everything else. So we train you, we give you all the templates and tools and everything to do it.
That's brilliant.
Oh, and
There.
it's a $5,000 to $10,000. So larger PR agencies typically charge $10,000 a month for this. So there's a huge revenue stream, a lot of potential, a lot of opportunity here for agencies who want to do this for clients. So that's the kind of stuff that we teach you. And Steph, you asked me if there's anything else I wanted to say, and I want to say one more thing before I forget. For anyone worried about security, because if you are using AI agents, you should absolutely be thinking about security. And I usually get this question. So if anyone's watching like the replay later or something and has this question, I want to answer it right now.
Mm-hmm.
This whole platform is not like, it's nothing like, what is it, OpenClaw and all of those other agent building platforms that everyone's like worried about because of all the cybersecurity issues with those. This
Yeah.
is literally built by a security certified Amazon engineer, a senior engineer, my husband. But anyway, yeah.
Who's very well
So
versed, very talented, all the things.
yeah.
I love that. This is amazing. So again, if you guys want to check it out, head on over here because this is one of those where instead of waiting for someone to invite you, just go out there and start pitching yourself. And this, I feel like this gives you a better way to put your best foot forward. Because again, it's listening to the 5 most recent podcasts, it's aligning it with your current messaging, the platform that you have, and saying, hey, this would be a strong fit for you to go out there. And it does majority, I would say, of the heavy lifting. But again, you're going to have the semi-automated there as well. And then if you don't even have a website, it'll build the website for you, which is like, that's absolutely amazing. And it's a great community because I do see the emails all the time. We're like, we're having a town hall, we're doing this, we're releasing new features and all the things. And so I, for one, are you still doing like the custom GPT where you answer the questions and copy paste it over?
Right now, yes, but that's another thing that we're changing, especially because custom GPTs, I mean, they work with ChatGPT and ChatGPT now shows you ads, which I can't
Yeah,
stand.
that
It
was
just
weird. I was like, what is
so
this?
so
Yeah.
we are rebuilding that into the platform, and actually we're taking away the whole survey, like where it parses the answers. It's just going to send that entire conversation to the research agents because that's kind of what we're doing already. So we're
Got it.
simplifying the whole process is the short version of that.
Can I ask you one question before I let you go? What's this monetization strategy thing right here? What is that?
This is mostly like when you get on shows, like if you're on a podcast or you're invited to speak on a stage, right? You have an opportunity to give away some sort of a freebie or a CTA so that people can get a little glimpse. I mean, you did that, Steph. You had this amazing, like, madness created thing that I still have bookmarked, right? But you can create something like that. It tells you what would be a good CTA, a good freebie for you to give away. You can just create a QR code for it, and then it helps you build it out too. So like here, for example, it'll tell you, like, based on what I talk about, it's like, oh, if you're going to be talking to agencies, you could have this little quiz that you can have a QR code for and just take them through that. Right. And then if you're ready for it, you're like, okay, yeah, I want to build this. You can build it inside of Brandpod, or if you use something like Replit or Lovable, you can generate the PRD, which it will just create the entire prompt for you on brand using your colors and everything. And then it has all the security stuff also kind of built in, some of it. Instead of just going to Lovable and using one of their kits, you'll get a
Yeah.
better result. But yeah. So
Can you show what I want to see so I don't have to like buy another domain and all that jazz?
what do you want to see? Like the PRD for Lovable, or like you want to see how it builds it inside of here?
Inside of here, if you have one already. I mean, I don't know how long it takes.
No, it takes a few minutes to build it, but I'll show you something that's already built.
Okay.
So let me go.
And to the rest of the crew that's watching, if you have any questions, if you want to give Ruheene some love, please go ahead and comment now.
Hopefully everyone's not like
They're
drowning
probably
in.
in it. They're probably on the back end already like, what do I do? Let me fill this out. My agent is working.
Well, if you sign up for Brandpod, the first thing that it's going to have you do is go through that custom GPT that we were just talking about. So that takes, I mean, usually people
That
spend
does take a little bit. Yeah.
they spend anywhere between 30 minutes to 3 hours.
Got
Uh,
it.
yeah, yeah. So it takes, there we go. Maybe it's going to load. Yeah. So yeah, it's just used my pink branding and it's created like this. I don't even know what this is. I think this is something that we created as a test. So yep, it just does this. And so yeah, my mark, it's just a quiz basically.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Do you know how many clients I have that are like, here's a deal room calculator. There's a this, there's a that.
Yeah, so these are perfect little ways to give away something that's a freebie and that is very it's designed based on again your audience's search terms, what events are looking for, what topic you're going to be talking on or speaking on, your keynote, and then it pulls all those things in together to create the
Hmm.
perfect brand magnet is what we call it instead of lead magnet for
And so
you.
then that's the URL. That's where it's like it's hosted. Where
Yeah, so you can have a URL forwarding and like make it look prettier, but yeah,
but you'll
that's
most
where it
likely
helps.
create like a QR code on the back end or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
very cool. Wow. I got all these goosebumps. I'm like, I need to get back in there. Do all the things and all the things. So, having said that, Ruheene, thank you so much. This is absolutely mind blowing. I'm going to be sharing this with a couple of PR agency friends and be like, have you seen this? Are you doing this? What's going on? Like, this is just coming around the corner. And so it sounds like you're working on a couple of other cool things. I feel like every month you're dropping a new feature.
We have a lot of stuff coming through the pipes. So the agency model is what we are going to be releasing by the end of next month. That's going to be, I'm super excited about it. It's just going to have lot more control for agencies to do this for clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So if anyone wants to learn more about you or have you on their podcast or their live stream, where is the best place for them to find you?
Um, Best place to find me is through email, Ruheene at Brandpod.ai. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on all the things. I'm just Ruheene Jaura, just my name. And then my website is ruheene.com. So any one of those places works.
I love it. You're absolutely amazing. This has been so much fun. I can't wait to see all my DMs. I feel like my phone has been blowing up. My phone has been blowing up. So I can't wait to see what people have to say. But having said that, if you guys have any questions about whether it's Brandpod.ai, I think the other one we also kind of teased, where was it? Hey Levi.
That one.
We talked about that one too. And then Six Sense is the agency
Six,
one.
that's
Six Scoop.
sixscoop.com.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Like 6 cents for your agency, inside scoop, all those things. Anyway.
Got it. Okay, cool, 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 cool. So that's all coming down the pipeline. Ruheene just gave you all the info of how to find her. We'll put that in the show notes as well. But having said that, Ruheene, you're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to walk everyone through this process. I feel like a couple minds are blown. Like I said, my phone is blowing up on the back end. Maybe a couple of PR friends like, stop sharing that. Stop it. What are you doing? But we'll go from there. And then having said that, thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you on the next